We are floating like butterflies and stinging like bees. Rumble, you two badass jet pilots, rumble. Welcome to the Wingman Show, where we're floating like butterflies and stinging like bees. Rumble, you two badass jet pilots, rumble. Welcome to the Wingman Show. My name is Commander Drew Brown. My wingman, my friend, the guy who watches my six, is Dr. Paul Thompson. How are you, Paul?
Hello, Commander Drew. I'm doing very well. It's good to see you today. You look like a lemonade popsicle.
I feel like a lemonade popsicle. Well, let's start this puppy off with a good motivational quote. This is a great one, too. The whole world opened to me when I learned to read. That's by Mary McLeod Bethune. The whole world opened to me when I learned to read. And we're going to be talking about hobbies today. And one of the best things that you can do for brain health is to learn something new. And you usually learn that by reading, don't you, Paul?
Yeah, you do learn by reading, and that is where the world is, and that's the reason we try to introduce that to children when they're very, very young to get them into reading, into the habit of reading, as opposed to just playing games all the time. That's when your brain will really develop when it's exercised.
And you realize that countries who don't let their children learn how to read, they're doing that so they have no knowledge and they just listen to whatever the elders say. And that's a terrible thing. But they realize, like, they didn't let enslaved people learn how to read because they knew that would unenslave them. All right. Dr. Paul, I know everybody's waited with bated breath about this one, about your black toenails or darkened toenails. You had laser work done on it, and you've been doing it for a while. Why don't you give us an update on that toenail laser that you've been doing?
Yeah, well, late breaking news. I know the world's been waiting to hear about how I've been doing. It's so important. I'm very, very slow, kind of an advanced case. And that's what the guy told me at the very beginning. I've been doing it actually over a year. I go, I go every month now, and it takes about 10 minutes total, about, about 1 minute per toe or 40 seconds. And they hit you with this, they hit you, I say hit me, and hit you with a laser on your feet. You got to wear these protective glasses, both you and the operator, and I'm listening to tunes and things. But basically, it's supposed to kill the fungus beneath the nail. And my case, it's better than it was. I'm never going to get a job modeling footwear. Footwear. I'm not gonna be a footwear model. So I took a picture today, and we'll put it on there. Hopefully, it's not too grotesque. You should be able to still eat your food after looking at it. But I will say it's about 50% better than it was when I started. That's what I'll say.
That sounds great. Well, let me ask you this. How much have you put into this? How much money does it cost to do this?
Oh, each visit they give me. I've come so many times. They give me a bit of a break. I have put in. I don't have the exact figures. I would say I'd probably put in about $1,800.
Wow.
So and there's some stuff you gotta put on the nail morning and night. I was not as religious about that as I should have been, but I've been picking that up. It's not hard to do. So, I do it. Initially, I said, I'm gonna do it for maybe a year because the guy said, normally it's like 3 or 5 treatments. He said, "In your case, it may be more, maybe a lot more." So I
Wow.
keep going.
Wow. Well, that's great. Well, let me give you a little update on my Cybertruck. I went to go visit my son, Dr. Drew, and my grandchildren, Drew Brown the Fifth and Nori Z, and I went down to Tampa. And as you know, my Cybertruck is autonomous. I put in Drew's address, I push a button, and the car takes me there. It'll take me to charging stations as I need it. Okay, so I had a great time. Katrina and I went down there. We hung out with my daughter Heather and the children, and we just had a great time. Well, on the way back, once again, I put in home, pushed a button, and the Cybertruck took me. Now, and I was thinking this, you know how you don't get speeding tickets? You don't speed. So I always put my speed at 8 to 9 miles over the speed limit because they won't give you a ticket unless it's over 10 because it's not worth it, they say. So anyway, I was going about 78 miles an hour and I was going through Ashburn, Georgia. And I was in the right-hand lane of a three-lane highway, and to the right of me, off the road, was a police car who stopped a speeding car. And I saw him very clearly, and I drove by, and he waved his arm at me. I thought he was waving hello. Well, he wasn't waving hello because about 5 minutes later, he pulled me over and gave me a ticket in Ashburn, Georgia. And the name of the ticket is a failure to move over. I didn't even know this. It was very safe the distance that I passed him, but I got a ticket and Dr. Paul and I looked it up. It's actually called the Spencer Pass Law, but failure to move over. The problem is the sheriff was so nice too. It looked like it was just business as usual. I mean, it felt like this guy was saying, "Look, they told me to write 20 tickets. You're number 18. There's no talking me out of it. You're getting a ticket." But I have to wait 7 to 10 days to find out how much the ticket's going to be. Isn't that crazy, Paul?
That is crazy, and your Cybertruck can do everything, but that's the thing about that's about automation. Automation does a lot, but sometimes it does not do everything. It doesn't update the laws. Maybe that'll happen one day, but, will it pay it will it pay it for you? We good
No,
at
I
this.
doubt it. But Drew did tell me that I need to tell Tesla because that's something that they may put in their software. So if they do see somebody pulled over to the right and there's nobody in your left lane, it'll move over for you.
Yeah, and there are more states that wanna do that, I understand. And also it covers it's not just police officers, it's any emergency vehicle and include an ambulance, and actually can include a tow truck.
Yes.
I didn't know.
Anything with flashing lights.
Yeah.
Well, I learned my lesson and I will always move to the left if I see anybody on the side of the road. And I usually do it. And if they're close, of course I move over. But I really felt that they were far enough away. All right. The name of our show today is What is Hip? Tell me if you think you know. Actually, that's by Tower of Power, my favorite group. What is hip? Finding a hobby that you're great at. So let me just tell you something about hobbies. Research has found that hobbies can help us feel better mentally and physically over time. In fact, they surveyed 93,000 older adults and found that those who had hobbies reported better health, more happiness, fewer symptoms of depression, and a higher life satisfaction, which are all linked to better brain health. It also helps us feel happier and reduces stress, which protects memory and cognition. Relaxing hobbies like knitting or listening to music actually lowers stress levels and actually reduce stress hormones such as cortisol, which can contribute to anxiety and cognitive decline. And that's a horrible thing for cortisol to drip in your body when it's not needed. But the good thing is it increases brain chemicals too, such as dopamine and serotonin, and that's linked to feelings of happiness and well being. Well, we have a new guy on our show, and he's our favorite guy. His name is Ace. All right, Ace, I got something to ask you. We're talking about hobbies now, and we're also saying that how good it is for brain health. And I believe brain health is the most important health you can have. So, neuroscientists saying that hobbies are good for your brain health. One of the best ones I heard is learning a new language. Why don't you tell me why that's important?
Absolutely. Learning a new language is fantastic for brain health because it really gives your brain a full workout. Neuroscientists say that when you learn a new language, you're strengthening your memory, you're improving your multitasking skills, and you're also creating new neural pathways. It's kind of like give your brain a fun and challenging puzzle that keeps it flexible and resilient.
Thank you so much, Ace. That was a great answer. Dr. Paul, you want to ask Ace about some brain health hobbies?
Yeah, Ace. Hey, Ace, talking about brain health and talking about improving it by doing hobbies. What do you think about the effects of learning a new musical instrument?
Hey, great question. So, learning a new musical instrument is actually a fantastic hobby for brain health. There's quite a bit of research that shows it can strengthen things like memory, coordination, and even emotional processing. Basically, you're giving your brain a full on workout, and it can be a really enjoyable way to keep it healthy.
Okay, thanks. Commander Drew, what other things can help brain health?
I have a great one here, and that's called aerobic exercise. Ace, they say aerobic exercise and regular exercise is one of the best things for brain health. Is that true?
It absolutely is true. Aerobic exercise is like a magic pill for your brain. When you get your heart rate up, you're increasing blood flow to the brain, you're helping to grow new brain cells, and you're also boosting all those good brain chemicals that keep you sharp and in a great mood. So, yeah, regular exercise is definitely one of the best things you can do for your brain, though.
Thanks, Ace. Dr. Paul, I'm sure you got another one.
Yeah, I do. I want to ask Ace about improving brain health through reading. We're talking about reading. We started the show with talking about reading. So Ace, how does reading help brain health?
Absolutely. Reading is another powerhouse hobby for your brain. When you read, you're basically giving your mind a really good stretch because you're focusing, you're imagining things, you're processing new information, and all of that helps keep your brain in shape. It's kind of like a mental gym session. So, yeah, reading is definitely a great way to boost brain health.
Okay, thanks, Ace. Yeah, Commander Drew, do you have any other suggestions on how we can nourish and help our stimulate our brains?
I sure do. Ace, how about playing video games or games like chess or puzzles? How good is that for your brain health?
Those are actually great too. Playing video games, chess, or puzzles can definitely give your brain a boost. They help with problem solving skills, strategic thinking, and even improve your reaction times. So it's definitely a good way to keep your brain healthy and active.
Dr. Paul, I will tell you this. I believe that everybody is a LeBron James in something. Everybody is great at something. And the name of our show today is What is Hip? Finding a hobby that you're great at. If you can find something that you enjoy doing and you're good at, that is such a gift. It is such a gift. And there are things that everybody's good at. You just got to try a lot of things to get there, Paul.
Right. Yeah. You got to be active and you got to try. And again, I say, everyone's to step out of your comfort zone, get uncomfortable for a little while, please.
All right. Well, let's talk about good news because that's what we do here on the Wingman Show. There's enough bad news out there, and we try to bring you something good and motivating. Well, what if I told you that there's a first of its kind HBCU prep school opening in New York City? And the principal, Dr. Isa Johnson, she said it's important because it doesn't exist. This is the first one anywhere. And I don't know if people know this, but I went to an HBCU. I went to Southern University in New Orleans, and anybody can attend an HBCU, just like any color, any race, anybody can attend an HBCU, and they can also attend this college prep school. What do you think about prep school for HBCU?
Yeah, that's good. Any kind of preparatory thing for college, I think, is great. And you're right. Anybody can attend. I've seen my son went to an HBCU, Morehouse College, and there are students of different backgrounds, different colors, if you will, international students from Germany, Copenhagen, and a few other places, and some are playing on the football team. So HBCU, everybody can attend. Yeah, I see that schools in Jamaica, Queens, kind of my old stomping grounds. The building was kind of familiar from the picture I saw.
Well, that's great good news that we have schools like that opening. How about this one? Barnes and Nobles. They're going to open 30 more stores. And I thought that they were on the decline. I thought bookstores were on the decline, but they're not. And I have to bring my mom into this. You know, my mom told me don't marry anybody who can't swim, but she also said don't live anywhere that doesn't have a bookstore. What do you think about that, Paul?
Yeah, I'm encouraged by that. I saw that thing with Barnes and Noble because there was one that I really liked not too far from us, and it closed about 2.5 years ago. And it's just a big elephant. In fact, I was there recently, and they're still kind of tearing it down. That's unfortunate. But I'd heard that they're going to start building. I wonder where they're building them.
They said about 22 states are going to get new ones. So I think it's a wonderful thing. The more you read, the more you learn, the better you are for it.
Yeah.
I'd like to thank everybody out there for listening to our show or seeing our show on TikTok and YouTube, listening to us on Apple Podcasts and iHeartRadio and any other venue that you listen to us. Thank you so much. Please hit that subscribe button. That really helps us. We do appreciate it. And if we have a newsletter, we have a newsletter at our website. Our website is wingmanshow.com. Wingmanshow.com. That's WINGMENSHOW. Wingmanshow.com. And what we have is that newsletter, and we have a frequent flow line. The newsletter this week goes right along with what we're talking about, how to find a hobby that reveals your hidden talent. Like I said, everybody has that talent. Don't you think, Paul?
I think everybody does have the talent, uh, but you got to try. Get outside your neighborhood. Like you said, you talk about traveling, and that's part of it. Go see something else. I did something not too long ago I'd never done before. You know what that was?
What?
I played badminton.
Wow.
I never played badminton. I was invited to go, and I did it, and that was my exercise for the day. And I was running around quite a bit, and I did break more than a sweat. And this was a place that had about 30 different badminton courts, and they had teams. They had teams of young people, like groups of 20. They were working out and doing stretches and all kinds of things. They started playing badminton with this, I guess they call this the shuttlecock that goes back and forth. And there's a lot to it. My knees aren't what they used to be. It was a lot easier 50 years ago. But the knees kind of limit my lateral movement. So the games I lost was because I couldn't do the left and right so good, but I could go forward and back okay.
Wow. Well, I love badminton. It's really fun to play, and that shuttlecock kind of moves fast, but not that fast, unless you go watch Olympic badminton, and that is the wildest game you could ever see. And I mean, these guys are good. Well, check out those badass jets we got behind us today. We have three A6s, but one of them is real, and that's the one behind Dr. Paul. He's got an A6 Intruder and an F-14 Tomcat on the flight deck of an aircraft carrier. Now, myself, I have two A6 Intruders, but they're AI generated, and you can see that because they're both numbered 501. All right, everybody. I told you on that website, wingmanshow.com, we have something called a frequent flow line. So I'm going to get Ace back involved in this, and I'm going to read him a letter from our frequent flow line. Hey, Ace, I want to read you a letter from our frequent flow line, and I'd like to know what you think about it. The letter states, Dear Wingman, Drew, Paul, and Ace, I'm a 31-year-old and I live in Newark, New Jersey. I've been listening to the Wingman Show for a while now, and I really connect with the positive energy and motivation you guys put out. I've got some dreams I've been carrying with me for years, starting with my own small business and maybe even writing a book. But the truth is, I get stuck in my own head. Confidence is something I struggle with. Too often, I second guess myself, and before I know it, another year has gone by without really going for it. That's why I'm writing you. I want to know, how do I start believing in myself more? How do I push past the fear and doubt and build up that kind of confidence to chase my dreams without holding back? I know you've both lived big lives with challenges and victories. And Ace, you always seem to bring that steady wingman perspective. What advice would you give someone like me who wants to stop watching from the sidelines and finally start living with purpose? Thanks for everything you do. I feel like every episode is a reminder that I don't have to settle. What do you think about that, Ace?
Well, first off, that's a fantastic letter. And I'd say to that listener, the fact that you're even reaching out and thinking about these dreams means you're already on the right path. Confidence really does grow with action. The more little steps you take, the more that confidence builds. So I say, start small. Pick one tiny thing you can do for that business idea or that book, And remember, every single person who's done something big has felt that fear. No, it's normal, but you've got it in you to move forward one step at a time. So be your own wingman, take that little step, and know that every bit of progress counts.
Thanks so much, Ace. That's a great answer. And I can add to it. I'm an author. I wrote one book, and it's a biography, and it's called, believe it or not, You Gotta Believe. But Dr. Paul is an active author, and he writes all the time. Now, my advice to you about writing is get a pencil and a piece of paper and start doing it. The biggest thing to do is actually start. Dr. Paul, you're an author. Do you have any advice for my friend?
Yeah, you literally took the words out of my mouth. I was gonna say, I'm gonna start with 5 letters, START. That's exactly what I was thinking, and that's what it is. I just, finished at my, I guess my latest manuscript just a few days ago, and we're actually working on it some years for really a few years. Should have finished about a year and a half ago, but life got in the way and I just didn't. But yeah, the thing is to get started and get that momentum going. That's the big thing. Get started, get your momentum going, and you'll be able to complete it as opposed to just thinking about it. Yeah, maybe. You've just got to start one. Just get the first paragraph done. The hardest part is probably about your first paragraph, first 2 paragraphs, and then it kind of flows. That's what I found just about every time with no AI.
And believe in yourself. If other people don't pat you on the back, pat your own self on the back. Be your own best friend, and you can do anything you put your mind to. The problem is sometimes it's hard to start. And just like what we said, but as you continue, you build more confidence. And that brings me to a Wingman PSA from the 11 facts in life. On the fact number 10, treat others as you want to be treated. On the fact number 10, treat others as you want to be treated. Dr. Paul, that's the golden rule. I believe in that wholly. You want to be nice to people, they should be nice to you. You want respect from people, you have to respect them first. Tell me about treating others as you want to be treated, Dr. P.
Yeah, do unto others, and I think people should think about that more so. I think we've really kind of fallen away. Think about the term, you've heard the term road rage.
Yes.
You didn't grow up with that term. That's just a kind of a new age thing where people are just so almost looking for an excuse to be angry. And that looks like it's a worldwide phenomenon. It's not just in LA, in New York. So yeah, just take a breath. Take a breath, especially in a car. Take a breath, take it easy, move to the center lane. Don't go crazy over nothing.
Oh, you're a comedian, Dr. Paul, I must say. Very funny. Well, we've come to our part on the show called The Gouge. And what's the gouge? Well, in the Navy, the gouge was shit you need to know, but sometimes nobody tells you. I want to bring Ace in for this gouge question. Hey, brother Ace, my main wingman guy. I have a question for you. If you're traveling, a lot of people say they lose their luggage. Do you have any hints and tips on not losing your luggage or what you can do with your luggage to make sure that doesn't happen?
Absolutely. Happy to help. So, one good tip is definitely to use a luggage tag that's really distinctive, or even a smart tag like one of those Bluetooth trackers. That way, if your luggage does get misplaced, you can track it with your phone. Also, taking a quick photo of your bag before you check it can help with identification. And if you can, try to carry on the essentials so you're not left stranded if a check bag does not miss it.
Thank you so much, Ace. That was great advice. Well, the name of our show is called The Wingman Show. And it's called The Wingman Show because we highlight people who help others. And we think that's very important. Like Dr. Paul always watches my six. Well, there are wingmen throughout history and throughout the world. And I want to bring you one. First, I must define this word enslaved. People call people slaves or when they were slaves. That's not a correct term. And Dr. Paul taught me this. People aren't slaves, people are enslaved. Well, the guy I'm going to talk about, he's at the center of the Underground Railroad network, and his name was William Still. He was an unsung hero of the Underground Railroad. I want to give you a little biography. He was born free in a free state of New Jersey. He was the youngest of 18 children. His parents had been enslaved in the eastern shore of Maryland. Levin Steele, William's father, was able to purchase his freedom after years of saving. When his wife Sidney was unable to do the same, she fled, taking the couple's 4 children with her. She joined her husband in New Jersey, but before long, they were tracked down by slave hunters and dragged back to Maryland. How about this? When Sidney fled the second time, she made the heartbreaking decision to leave behind her 2 eldest children, knowing that she likely would never see them again. Still was like this woman that we all know about, the famous Harriet Tubman. And she used to travel into her native Maryland over and over to guide others to freedom. Well, Still was in Philadelphia. It was like, it wasn't less important. He was so devoted. He devoted himself to supporting agents like Tubman and assisting the fugitive enslaved men and women and children who themselves are the true engine of the Underground Railroad. Dr. Paul, thank you so much for teaching me about the word enslaved.
You're welcome.
Everybody out there who can hear my voice, whatever you think is important, whatever you think is beautiful, and most importantly, whatever makes you happy, may you have that today and forever. I pray for peace.
I pray for peace too, Commander Drew. Good seeing you again as always. We appreciate all those who listen, like, and share our message. Most of you are not subscribed. It would help us out a lot if you would subscribe. You'll get a notification when we put out a new episode. So hit that subscribe button. It really helps. In any case, we hope you'll do well, and we look forward to speaking with you again.
Thank you once again, Dr. Paul Thompson, my friend. Thank you for your love, your time, and that's something that we won't ever get back. I want to thank all the listeners, too. Thank you so much for doing the show, Dr. Paul. We're jamming.
Well, thank you, Mr. Drew, for inviting me on. Always good to talk to you. And ladies and gentlemen, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to this podcast or any of the podcasts. If you're looking at YouTube, they say smash the like button. Don't smash it. Just press it gently and use as a link to all your friends. You can also look at us on our website, wingmenshow.com, WINGMEN show, SHOW.com, altogether, wingmenshow.com. And we hope to see you in the future. Thanks again, Mr. Drew.
Oh, you're welcome. And we're still floating like butterflies and stinging like bees. Rumble, you badass jet pilots, rumble. May there be peace on earth, and goodwill towards all men and women.